Hey everyone, before I really get started, I want to say thank you for watching this wacky video of mine. I'm basing many of my theories off of this rumor video from Tana, where he rumors the two new X Factor and Silver Surfer coming. As of strike time yesterday, we know that Silver Surfer is confirmed, so most likely these X Factor are coming too, but we'll have to see. If you want to watch the full video, or if you have any questions about the logic from it, feel free to watch the full thing. It'll be linked in the description below. So, yeah, let's just jump into this. So, we're going to be talking about Shadowland today. So, this looks to be very good. It looks to be very player-friendly. I've seen them really do some nice punch-ups, some nice, really big damage in war offense specifically, but I do think that a lot of people are disregarding it, are just throwing it by the wayside for no reason. I think we should probably be avoiding that, because I think that there's something else that's coming along with this team. Let me show you why. In this blog post, Welcome to Shadowland, that's posted in early February, if we scroll all the way down here, this final paragraph, okay? I'm talking about the new Need a Hand event that's coming out, to get more hand shards for everyone. But it specifically says, if you don't have Electra at 7 stars already, make sure you take advantage of this and future Need a Hand events. So, if you don't know, over here in MSF.gg, you can see all the different events here, and looking through all of them, the only one that Electra is actually eligible for a star requirement is the Relic Hunt. So if we go back here to the blog post and we type in Relic Hunt, nothing shows up. Why are they telling us to get her to 7 stars if the only event she's here for isn't talked about? Now, this could just be a formality because she has been in the game since launch, but I have a feeling that they wanted to give us this hint in early February, as the patch is coming out most likely the 16th of March 2021. So it's almost a month and a half early. I think they wanted to drop us this hint, but not play all their cards on the table. That's why they didn't reveal anything about Daredevil. That's why they didn't talk about anything for Night Nurse either. They just say, hey, if you don't have Electra at 7 stars already, you may want to consider bringing them up a little bit. So, if we're still thinking about Shadowland, let's talk about the ratio, okay? Typically, when it comes to legendary requirement teams, they've got 3 characters that are brand new, and they join in alongside the 2 already in the game. Now, the past 3 normal legendaries, I'm not including the Inhumans, because that was a special case with Black Bolt. The last 3 normal legendary teams follow this rule, with Asgardians, X-Force, and Pimtech. But with Shadowland, because we have 3 in the game already, if they are going to be a legendary requirement, it seems likely that they're probably going to be making the star requirement more than 5. Simply because Daredevil, Electra, and Night Nurse have been in the game since launch. So many characters have them at 7 stars without even trying. They're all eligible for good events in the game, where Electra's eligible for the Relic Hunt, Daredevil and Night Nurse are eligible for the Block Party, etc. It just makes sense, if this is going to be a legendary requirement team, that it's going to be a little bit higher than 5 stars. But it's up to you on that remark. So, since we're on the topic, let's talk about White Tiger and Moon Knight. These seem to be very accessible characters, but they're not insanely accessible. Let me kind of explain what I mean here. White Tiger's event is an event campaign. The event campaign came out immediately after the lunar milestone event, where they wanted us to spend power cores to finish the milestones. Now, typically people store power cores in preparation for an event campaign so that they can get a character up as high as they can, potentially even get them to 5 stars already. So if they're trying to prevent us from getting a ton of White Tiger shards to potentially get her higher than just a standard like 3 or 4 stars, which is what we typically get, why would they be hindering us from this? What's so important that she's going to be needed for that they need to have a whole event restricting power cores right before she's coming out? It doesn't make a ton of sense. And also, when it comes to Moon Knight, his event is coming out tonight, 3/11. When I'm recording this, it's March 11th, 2021. So his event is coming out tonight. So for free-to-play players, we're just now getting access to him. That seems really late after you've already had to invest time and effort if you're going for this team. You've already had to devote a lot of time, a lot of effort into White Tiger, and if all of a sudden Moon Knight comes out and you can only get so many shards of the character, what if this team is really going to be needed to unlock the next game-breaking legendary? And it does seem a little weird because they are accessible characters. All of them are easily able to be unlocked. But if you think this is restricting them from being used in the legendary requirement, I am going to refer you back to Ebony Maw, because the Black Order was set to take over the meta. We've seen this over the past year, and when he was being released, Scopely allowed a much larger amount of the player base to unlock him and use the full team. Now, granted, COVID-19 was hitting, and that's really what shifted a lot of things, but in the end, they made the choice to allow so many characters to use him. If we are in line for another kind of Ebony Maw game-changing legendary, it would make sense that at least the characters are slightly available. If anything, I'm gonna say keep your eyes open. If you see that Moon Knight and White Tiger are becoming farmable, start farming them as soon as possible, okay? If they become farmable and you miss out on this, with my suspicion it looks like this is gonna be the next big thing, and you might be set back months. So, let's talk about who I think the actual legendary is. I honestly think it's going to be a 5th for X Factor. Now, that's just me personally. I do believe Tana, and I think that both Polaris and Multiple Man are going to be coming up in this next patch, and so, as he's been rumored in a splash screen already, I think it's going to be Richter as the legendary character, and that could really spell some interesting things for the team. Now, it could be anyone, really. Like, I've heard people swear that Magic is on her way. It could really be anyone at this point. We know that Scopely isn't known for specifically playing by the comics. So, really at this point, I'm just thinking it's going to be an X Factor legendary. So, really just trying to cover me in case everyone gets mad at me. So please don't come at me with torches and pitchforks. Thank you. So, if we're looking at X Factor already in the game, we only have Shatterstar and Longshot, and granted it's just 2 characters, but the Dat Bros have been able to really do a lot in the, 3-4 months that they've been in the game? So, if they've been able to do so much with just Turn Meter and the Barrier combo, imagine if we are getting Multiple Man and Polaris. Even if neither of their passives say literally anything about crits, just think about 4 characters being able to apply that same kind of crit bonuses getting all that turn meter, getting all that barrier, just those 4 could really mess up a lot of teams. At that point, just pray that X Factor is not going to be a war defense team. So my thinking is, if X Factor is going to be that insane with just 4 characters, why not just tip the scale and add a 5th? If they did add a 5th, and for some reason they said, oh, you know, the only thing the passive says, increase critical chance and critical damage by so much per X Factor ally, this team could go bonkers. It could go completely insane. Like, here you go, here's the meta. We're introducing Silver Surfer to remove Black Order, and here you go. Here's the new meta. I still think that Dr. Doom and probably Doom and Silver Surfer as a combo are going to be countering this, but because Dark Dimension 4 is still a really big hurdle for a lot of for a lot of people, I still think that we're a long ways away from Doom being the focus of the meta. So I think Doom's time is coming. I think that Doom's team is being built. I think that Silver Surfer is a really big component of that. But I think that X Factor is going to get the spotlight first. So regarding Silver Surfer in the Strike Time video, if you don't know, the community manager for the Strike Time stuff, and just for Marvel Strike Force in general, Cerebro, likes to put a lot of comments behind him as kind of a hint, foreshadowing what those characters have in store for the future. Now, as you see here, the list of the Strike Time comics this time include as follows: 1 Shatterstar comic, an X Factor comic, including Longshot and Shatterstar, with the Mohoverse thing behind them intentionally left vague, I may add. They also have a Nick Fury comic, 1 classic Spider-Man comic, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 X-Men Forever comics, along with, obviously, the star of the show, the Silver Surfer comic. Now, Silver Surfer is the obvious one from these, as he's talked about for the next 14 minutes of this video, so I think we can reasonably rule out that Silver Surfer is just blatant at this point. So, before getting back into the X Factor stuff, I do want to cover some of these other comics real quick. So, if we're thinking about the Fury one, they recently did add Fury as a constant legendary. That has been in the past month or so. So this could still be in reference to that. Otherwise, we might be wanting to look forward to some sort of shield upgrade, some sort of shield rework, and potentially a classic Spider-Man rework, maybe with the addition of like Spider-Gwen, with the addition of something. I don't know. But typically they do some sort of comic introduction for a teaser of some sort. So these are really out of left field. I don't know what they have in store, but we'll have to see. When it comes to the X-Men Forever comics, honestly, I don't think that they would have the guts to give us a whole new X-Men team already. I mean, we just got through X-Men. We just got through the whole wave of Mutant. If X Factor are coming, as they've shown here, very blatantly, it's gonna overload us, okay? It's gonna overwhelm the community. I don't think that people have it in them to gear up another full mutant team. When, if X Factor is going to be the meta, like I presume, this is just going to be some sort of maybe war, maybe raid something. I don't know. I honestly think that these X-Men things are just filler. They might be reminiscent of their latest legendary, Jubilee, but I just really don't think that they're going to be adding a full new X-Men Forever tag. I think it just reminiscent of Astonishing X-Men, possibly even some of the characters getting farmable, but I I just don't think it's a new team at all. So we come back to these X Factor comics, Shatterstar and X Factor. So we know that Silver Surfer is coming. He was obviously confirmed by this, so the credit for getting 2 more X Factor is much higher. I really do think that we're going to be getting X Factor now. So no matter what happens, no matter who it is, I feel confident in saying if X Factor continues the way that they're going, and each of them have something like that in the passive, where you crit, you do something, this team is really going to go far, okay? I think the best way to not break the game is to say, okay, chill, you're going to be locked, and you're going to have a 6-star unlocked legendary, or you're going to have a 7-star unlocked legendary. Do I think they'll go for 7? No. Do I think they'll go for 6? I think it's more likely of the two, as Shadowland really is an accessible team, but I don't know. They haven't told us anything about some sort of legendary, so this is 100% speculation here, based on the tiny hints that we're presuming we've gotten. So that's really my predictions about X Factor. That's really my prediction about Shadowland. But before I wrap up here, I do want to mention another thing that I pointed out that I really noticed from this Strike Time video, and that really involves the Inhumans. So if I go up here, we see the Inhumans fighting the Marauders, and this is just one of many of the different teams that they showed here for Silver Surfer. And as they elaborated on the kit, how he has Hero Cosmic Ally synergy, so it really does make sense to put him with the Inhumans. However, they've intentionally left something vague here. It's not about Inhumans countering the Marauders, which is something big. I will admit, it is something pretty big that the Inhumans can now counter the Marauders, according to them. I'm talking about the fact that they left Quake out of the equation. Now, in the past, they've had the set 5 of Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, Crystal, Karnak, and Quake, but as you see here, Quake has been easily replaced with Surfer. Now, immediately when I saw this, my red flags went up, and I said to myself, okay, they're going to be pulling a Cyclops. Medusa is going to be on her way. Do I think this is going to be happening in this coming patch? It's possible. I wouldn't say that it's likely, but as Mobile Boomer recently said in his Save Gold for Silver Surfer video that came out just recently, March 6th, he said, we're overdue for another gold milestone character like Emma Frost, like Symbiote Spider-Man, so it would make sense that someone would be coming in. Now, whether that is Silver Surfer himself, which I think is more likely, that's the thing that he alludes to in this video, whether it's Silver Surfer himself, or it does end up being Medusa, either way, I think they are going to be like Emma Frost. I think they are going to be like Symbiote Spider-Man, where they are literally game-breaking. Okay? And with the released kit of Silver Surfer, it does seem like he fits the bill for that. So, my personal opinion, I do think Silver Surfer is going to be the new gold milestone character. That includes energy milestone as well. All of that stuff where they replace the Blitz Orb stuff, the Gear Blitz Orb stuff, with the new character shards. My money's on Surfer. I think the Medusa is on her way. Whether this patch, whether in 3 patches, whatever. This is the first time that they've done anything about splitting up those 5 Inhumans. And this is the first time they've talked about ever having the Inhumans counter the Marauders. And also at the moment, they're pumping out Marauder counters like it's nothing. So I would not be surprised if Medusa's in this patch. If it says the next 4 characters are coming, it's going to be Surfer, the 2 X Factor characters, and Medusa. I can see that coming. All of the hints are there. It would just make sense based on what they've told us, based on what they've not told us. But at the moment, as before, this is all speculation. You can believe me, you cannot believe me. It's obviously all your opinion, so yeah. Quick edit after recording. Mobile Boomer strikes again. After his most recent video about Silver Surfer breaking down his kit with Philosopher, I am much more confident about Medusa coming at some point very soon. As he comments on, Silver Surfer has the highest damage stat in the game, besides Doom himself, effectively replacing the one thing Black Bolt had going for him, his damage. Surfer also deals only piercing damage, ignoring all armor, and he ignores defense up when he has offense up, effectively doubling this damage in the process. They also mention that he's reportedly coming into raid milestones and not gold milestones. It makes sense now to say that just as Cyclops came in as Phoenix was starting to fall off because Crystal was introduced, that Medusa's going to come in clutch as the next gold milestone character to help Black Bolt have one more meta jump before he's ultimately countered like Ma did to Phoenix. With that, I wrap up. Thanks for watching this. Hopefully, even if I am horribly wrong, that something from this video does shake loose something, and you are able to see a few more connections, like what they haven't told us about this matchup here, because the rest of the matchups really were just matchups that were understandable, like the teams that they built on their own were perfectly fine, but this one really stuck out to me. Let me know if you noticed anything else from this Strike Time video, or if you noticed anything else that really follows along with this theory. Put that down in the comments below if you can. P.S. Build Longshot and Shatterstar. They really look like they're going to be needed in the future. Thanks for watching again, and see you in the next one.